This interview features Rebecca Olajide, Learning Resources Producer at the Science Museum, Olivia Durkin, Head of Training in Theatre at Stage Text, and horticulturalist Sarah Foss. When each interviewee chats with IRL, different aspects of their work are shown. At the STEAM Hub, a robotic arm projects the computer-generated smiley face of IRL.
I'm IRL, an artificial intelligence created to find out information about STEAM careers. Join me in interviewing professionals to explore their work.
Sector summary, education, loading.
How does science, technology, engineering or maths play a role in your work?
I currently develop learning resources for schools, families and community groups. Essentially, learning resources are activities that you can do at home or in the museum as a school group, a family or a community group. And so it's just a great way to engage in those particular groups, to learn more about the objects and our collections, and also engage those groups with the science skills and science knowledge.
I go out and about and I train people in deaf awareness, and deaf awareness is a really important part of making sure that a venue is accessible. You can't have an accessible venue or an accessible performance without accessible staff. So it's a really joyful part of my job.
Science is really involved in horticulture. It's absolutely vital that you've got, first of all, a basic understanding of your subject. I've got to understand the life cycle of plants. I've got to understand the parts of plants. But also there's a surprising amount of chemistry involved and also physics.
Finding science education comes in many shapes and forms, from community engagement to training staff in specialist skills.
Do you believe any hobbies, interests or aspects of your personality helped you to attain your current role?
So my deafness is really important in my role. My lived experience really helps me understand exactly what people will need when they go into a theatre. It also helps me with training. I understand why people might not understand deafness, because I myself was born deaf but didn't truly understand it until I was in my 20s.
Originally, I come from a creative background, which led me to do a lot of community arts projects. Because I don't come from a traditional science background, I believe that my perspectives can really contribute to the development of learning resources, because I bring a different perspective to the table. Typically, when we think of STEAM subjects, we have typical images of someone in a white coat with a test tube, etc. And I just, from the Science Museum, it's been a great way to kind of reconnect with STEAM subjects and also to make the museum more accessible, but also the science subjects more accessible.
I've always enjoyed gardening, and I've always enjoyed being outside and around plants, and I've always enjoyed working with people. And this really combines the two. I get out and I do some teaching, I meet some fascinating people, and I'm outdoors working with plants, which is fantastic.
Finding science educators draw on their personal experience as well as scientific knowledge to make learning accessible, engaging and fun.
Please outline the core criteria you would consider essential to having your job and why.
I obviously love theatre, that's why I went down the route that I went down. But I also have always really been invested in charities. I think that coming together and working for a theatrical charity is really a dream come true for me.
I didn't realise what the museum sector did in terms of roles and opportunities, especially working with community groups. So that includes young people, family, or people living with dementia and older adults as well.
You've got to be a people person, so you've got to be comfortable working with people and interested in who they are and what they're doing and why they're there. I may be working with senior schools or colleges, working with young people there, helping them understand how to grow plants. Perhaps I'd be working with a group of asylum seekers, teaching them some basic gardening skills.
Finding you don't have to be a teacher to be a science educator. Whatever your passions or interests, there is a career for you to follow.
Why is STEAM important to you?
With these different topics and subjects under your belt, they open doors for you. You can really pretty much go in any direction you want to. I'm a horticulturalist, but there's plenty of other jobs and roles out there using these subjects. So I think they're absolutely vital for young people to really get involved in these and get these qualifications.
We're really big on making science more accessible to everybody. We try and make science subjects much more accessible to everyone. That how we write things makes sense to different groups of people who may feel comfortable with science or who may not, or even.
I really love helping people have access to arts and culture, because arts and culture is all about relaxing after a hard day at work, and I get to be a part of that. But I also really love the fact that we're using cutting-edge technology to make sure that everybody has access to something that they want to go and do.
Finding: science can open all sorts of doors. But to do that, our science educators spend a lot of time thinking about how to make their work more accessible. Summary complete. Sutton STEAMs Ahead is a project funded by a Cultural Impact Award as part of the Mayor of London's London Borough of Culture programme and the National Lottery Heritage Fund.